Hi, I'm going to show you how to use Outlook and a plugin into Outlook to keep track of billable items as you work on those specific items. So you can see here that I'm in Outlook. I am in the calendar view within Outlook. And from there, I'm going to right-click in the calendar, select New Time Entry, and then a box pops up where I can start inputting information to keep track of that particular item that I'm working on. You can see here firm name. That will pre-populate to your firm name once you put that information in. And then client, this is information that also will need to be populated in or pre-programmed, and billing item also will need to be pre-programmed in order for you to select those options from the drop-down menu. Description is a field which allows you to record as much information as is necessary for you to either put this information on invoices or for record keeping purposes. So you can determine what you need to put in here, but there is a maximum length of characters for this particular field. But that's a lot of space for you to be as detailed as possible. And then here, date, it will default to today's date. You can change that by selecting on this arrow here. Is billable, defaults to yes that the item is billable, but if the item is not billable, you'll select on no. And then the timer here, this is a green triangle for the timer to start the timer. Once you select that, other options will appear allowing you to either pause, stop, or reset the timer. And then the start time will automatically default to the time that you start the particular item or the timer, and then end time will also default to when you stop it, but it will round it to the next 10 minutes. So let's say you start the timer at 2:35. If you started at 2:35, you ended at 2:40, it's not going to say 2:40 there. It's going to round it up to the next 10-minute increment. And then total is going to calculate for you based off of the start and end time. Here you have save and close. Once you've inputted the information in here to record a time entry, you'll save and close this item. If you want to save the item but then open up a new time entry to start recording another item, you'll select save and new. And then if you want to just totally cancel this particular item, you'll select cancel. So we're going to go ahead and get started by selecting from the client list. Billing item. Let's say we're working on calendaring for a particular client. We'll go ahead and select that. And in the description field, I just want to be as detailed as possible for myself, for my record keeping purposes, but also for my client, for them to also know what I worked on, but also for invoices, because these items can be actually imported into programs like QuickBooks to create invoices. So in order to avoid double entry, you want to put the information in here to allow you to create invoices based off of this item. So we'll type that information here. The date is already populated for us. It's billable. We're going to select yes, and then we're going to go ahead and start that timer. Now let's say we receive an email from another client asking us about some information about a hearing. Well, we don't want to bill this particular client for some time that we're working on a different client's matter, so we'll go ahead and pause the timer. We're going to open up a new time entry so that we can record the time that we spend on the other client's matter, and we'll select that here. Billable item, let's say, and it's an email. So we go ahead and select email for a billable item, and then description. Let's say the client is calling about a hearing. This particular client wants to know more information about a hearing, maybe what this hearing entails, what he needs to be prepared for. So we'll go ahead and just type in the description box what this particular email was pertaining to. And then we'll go ahead and start the timer and let that run until we finish with that. Once we finish with it, we'll go ahead and stop the timer because we're finished. Now, we may or may not want to bill the client for this, just depending on what it was. If the client was just asking for some clarification or something of that nature, we may not want to bill the client for that. So we're going to select no, that it's not billable, but we still want to keep track of it for record keeping purposes. So we're going to record it. So we're going to save and close it once we're finished. Now you can see here that the end time was rounded to the next 10 minutes, and that total time has been calculated for us based off of our start and end time. So we're finished with that. So we're going to go ahead and save and close. That item has been inputted for us. And this is reminding us that we need to complete this item because we've added it in on our calendar as something that's need to be done. That's the way that it populates in here, but you can change that so that this doesn't pop up every time you put a new time entry in. So we're going to go ahead and open up our other item that we were working on, resume our timer, and let it run. And then once we're finished, we're going to go ahead and save and close. You can see here, we're going to stop that timer, save and close. It's populated in Outlook for us in the calendar. It's red now. Red is saying, okay, you have recorded this time, but it's not an e-ability. If it's not an e-ability, we can't run reports. We can't create invoices based off of the information because it's not been exported into e-ability. So we definitely want to do that. So we're going to go down and go to our e-ability sync manager. We're going to right click on it, and then the option is going to pop up allowing us to export the time entries into e-ability. So we're going to select on that. Now we're going to see here that those items have turned green, and that means that that process was successfully completed. So now we've recorded time, and we've also exported that time into e-ability. So now we can either run reports or create invoices if we need to. And so next time we'll show how to log into e-ability in their online portal so that we can keep track of times directly in e-ability. We may not want to use Outlook. We may decide we want to use Google or a different email application or have a different email application outside of Outlook. So we will use e-ability directly to keep track of billable times. We can also use e-ability on a smartphone. So if we're out of the office and don't have access to our email or don't want to use the email, it may be more efficient just to use the mobile application on a smartphone. So we'll show how to use that in different sessions. But for now, we know how to use Outlook to keep track of billable time for invoices, but also for record keeping purposes.